Dr. Ryohei Yanagi, or Ryo Yanagi, is the current CFO of Eisai, one of Japan's major pharmaceutical companies. But he combines this with a number of other roles, and also, of course, with writing this book. He's visiting professor at Toyo University and at Waseda University Graduate School of Accountancy. And I was wondering how he manages to write serious academic books at the same time as doing all of this, and he told me he's not watching the World Cup. He's cut out television, cut out golf. So very, very focused man. And his background is that he has an MBA from Thunderbird in the States and a PhD in economics from Kyoto University. Yeah. That's probably all the introduction you need, so I'll hand over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board. Thank you for flying with Japan Airlines. And this flight is going to be very turbulent, so please fasten your seatbelt very tightly. It means I'm going to speak very fast, so listen carefully. And if you have a question in the middle, you can interrupt me, but I will secure some of the Q&A time after my presentation. Hope you could enjoy my presentation here today. Wow, what a great audience. I see many familiar faces. I feel like as if today is my wedding party. Also, I'm missing beautiful bride here. But I really appreciate your presence out of your very busy schedule. So today I'm going to talk about corporate governance and value creation in Japan. This book is published by Shupringa, very prestigious academic printing company. And actually, in Japan, I published 12 books already. But this one is my first English book published by a global publishing company. So I feel very happy about it, and thank you for all the help granted to me, including global investors. Actually, all the global investors are my co-authors and my teachers, and combining world-class, investor constituencies opinion, I created a kind of my assertions, and I'm acting as an advisor to the government, Abenomics, and I'm advisor to TSE, official advisor more than 10 years, and also I was one of the drafting members of the Kiko Review, which emulated K-Review of the UK version, part of the Abenomics report. But I will explain later on how we can improve the Japan's corporate governance. Oh, who's this handsome guy? Amazing. Oh, it's me. Already introduced. Distance, thank you. And it's facing the dawn of the corporate governance. It means we went through the dark midnight in the last couple of decades. It's called lost decades. It's a time of value destruction, low return to shareholders, share price valuation plummeted, and the ROE is below cost of equity. It means below the investor's expectation, and market cap is less than cash. Unbelievable, cash is greater than market capitalization. How it happened? Let me explain. And the market cap is less than equity book value. Even today, after the Abenomics rally, 30% of the listed companies are traded below nominal accounting book value. So Japan is called country of value destruction. But such a value destruction is just symptom. What is the root cause of the disease? It's deeply rooted in our culture, history. We got to take a look at that. After World War II, we lost everything. We started from the scratch. At that time, no wealthy individual, capitalist, equity money providers. Then instead, government took the lead, especially Ministry of Finance, via Japanese commercial banks, providing funding in the form of bank loans. So at that time, our business model used to be bank governance. Bank-dominated corporate Japan, offering lending, taking deposit, seconding senior officers as the CFO, and making a cross shareholdings, eviscerating the minority shareholders' voices, but controlling corporate Japan based upon lifetime employment together with promotion by seniority. That model worked very well in the era of rapid economic growth, thereby achieving a miraculous turnaround back in 70s and 80s. But after the collapse of the bubble economy, Japanese banks cannot afford sustaining a total corporate Japan, thereby unwinding cross-shareholdings. Instead, who's gonna, replacing a portion of the banks? That's foreign institutional investors. And they have the genuine voices of shareholders based upon financial theory and theory of corporate governance, global standard. Therefore, we are now migrating or transiting from bank governance to shareholder governance, or debt governance to equity governance. We are kind of having a growing pain, lot of conflict, lots of effort, bitter experiences, but in the midst of improving the situation based upon root cause of the diseases, like main bank system. Sorry, we have several bankers here. I'm not accusing Japanese banks, but history tells us bank governance based upon main bank system took the lead, then thereby creating a sort of the investor phobia mentality. And cross-shareholdings eviscerated voices of genuine shareholders. Internal board protected CEOs. So that's a unique mechanism of Japanese-style capitalism. But in order to cope with the situation and lost decades of the value destruction, finally, Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister, stood up, embarking on so-called Abenomics. And the Abenomics include third arrow of corporate governance reform as a part of growth strategy. And the biggest issue here is a threefold. Number one, stewardship call back in 2014, again emulating UK way, binding Japanese domestic investors to be more vocal, fulfilling the duty of stewardship. They are getting more vocal, voting guideline is getting more stringent, sometimes engaged with Japanese companies in a confronting manner. And also, Ito review issued by METI back in 2014, emulating UK's K review. It's kind of not a law or guideline. It's kind of corporate finance, corporate governance textbook. And notably, it included, but not limited to, ROE 8% minimum threshold guideline. Actually, I myself drafted ROE 8% guideline. I'm gonna explain why I wrote it. But by this reason, to tell you the truth, I've been disliked by old guard, Kedane people. I may be assassinated from the old guard. So, but I would like to propel the reform, send a message to the rest of the world with clear-cut numerical target. Unless otherwise, message had been very weak. And 2015, finally, corporate governance code was enacted, again emulating the UK way, in a comply or explain basis, binding Japanese listed company to be, more value creative. And the first striking feature is demanding at least 2 outside directors. We used to have very few outside directors, so it's kind of the epoch-making. 3 corporate governance reforms surrounded by other countermeasures. Take a look at the board independence. Amazing. Japan is said to be third largest economies in the world. But the inconvenient truth is Japan is the poorest nation in terms of board independence. Board of directors is kind of watchdog, supervising, monitoring corporate executives. So by the international standard like UK or US, more than half of the board members should be independent outside guy, representing the best interest of the minority shareholders. That's a global standard. But take a look at the Japan's board structure. Despite the current improvement, only 10% to 20% are outside directors. 80%, vast majority are still internal board member. Basically, all the subordinates of the CEO. So they don't have the guts to fire CEO, although he may be value destroyer, right? And the total, independent board with majority being outside independent board, only 2% of the Japanese company has a, perfectly independent board with majority being outside independent directors, like Eisai, Sony, kind of exceptional companies. But the international standard require basically, majority board. More than half of the board members should be independent. Again, another inconvenient truth is ROE, return on equity. Literally means equity is a shareholders' entrusted money invested in the company's operation, how much annual return you can earn. This ratio on the book value basis is called return on equity as a proxy for shareholders' value. So global investor touts importance of the ROE. However, again, Japan is the poorest nation in the world in connection with return on equity, efficiency, capital efficiency for shareholder value creation. Although with Abenomics, it is on an improving trend from 5% to 8, 9, nearly 10% now, but still lag behind UK, US, mid-teens as average or medium. So we got to improve the capital efficiency again. Why ROE is important? Because ROE represents shareholders' value. Let's assume 30 years ago, if you had invested in US stock, guess what? How much yield did you earn on the average per year? That's for total shareholder return, including capital gain and income gain. Your return on an annual basis would have been 6% if you had invested in US stock 30 years ago. Okay. Why? Because during that period, average ROE was 5%. ROE is, like I said, book value basis. You invest entrusted money from shareholders in your operation, how much profit did you earn on the annual scale? And shareholders' return is a market value basis. What is your return, including capital gain and income gain? On the ultra long term period, like 30 years, market value and book value would have been converged with each other, quite identical, or very high, strong, positive correlation coefficient. So you can earn 6% because ROE has been 5% in case of Japan stock. Sorry, it's not the US, sorry, it's in Japan. In Japan, if you invested in Japan stock 30 years ago, your yield is 6% because Japanese average ROE was 5%. But by contrast, if you had invested in a US stock, your earning would be 13% per annum because during that period, average US ROE has been 14%. Again, book value and market value being converged with each other with very strong correlation coefficient. Therefore, ROE represents or proxy capital efficiency of shareholders' return. Therefore, global investor, according to the global investor survey I conducted, 90% of the global investors say the most important KPI is ROE. So ROE is a kind of magic, metric to gauge shareholders' return. Okay, remember If you invested in a Japan stock 30 years ago, roughly your yield is 5% because average ROE was 5%. If you invested in a US stock 30 years ago, you can earn 13% because average ROE has been 14%, converging with each other. Then, like I said, transition. Financial institutions, mainly banks, insurance companies, account for nearly 50% of the ownership of corporate Japan back in the 80s. So cross-shareholdings virtually dominate almost half of the total equity ownership. Therefore, at that time, there was no voting right for the genuine shareholders back in the 80s, based upon the bank governance business model. But after the collapse of the bubble economy around 1990, bank is aggressively unwinding cross-shareholding, divesting. Instead, foreign institutional investors gaining ground. Take a look at this rapid ramp up from 5% to 30%. Now, 30% of the corporate Japan is owned by foreigners. It means we are migrating from Japanese-style bank governance to global standard equity governance. We got to cater to global standard of capitalism, and also corporate governance and value creation is needed. And we conducted Abenomics corporate governance reforms, like I said. Ito review, corporate governance code has been granted highest approval rating by global investors. Hey, take a look at this chart. It seems that the global investors are satisfied with Abenomics because share price doubled, Nikkei average doubled, return on equity almost doubled, price book value ratio went up. So Abenomics, corporate governance reforms, has been very much successful. Global investors granted approval rating to corporate governance code and Ito review. Take a look at the US-Japan comparison of the ROE. Like I said, before Abenomics, Japanese ROE median for top 500 company has been around 5%. But thanks to Abenomics and also educational message of ROE 8% threshold by Ito review, now Japanese corporate manager taking serious attention to return on equity. It's going up to 9%. Said to be nearly 10% fiscal 17. And on the flip side, US top 500 companies, wow, still much high. Our ROE is improving, but still almost half of US level. So we are still in the midst of improving the situation. By so-called DuPont equation, ROE could be broken down into margin, turnover, leverage. It seems turnover leverage, not much difference. Biggest difference lies with margin. Because our margin is half of US, as a result, our ROE is half of US. Therefore, we got to improve the margin, profitability. That's the purpose of Abenomics, corporate governance reform. And innovation is needed, industry consolidation is needed. We got to improve the profitability of Japanese corporate side. Then again, inconvenient truth is price book value ratio. It's a matrix of the valuation. Price means share price divided by book value. How much added value you can create. This is a 10-year migration. Vertical axis shows you price book value ratio, price book ratio, market capitalization divided by equity book value, or share price divided by book value per share. One time means here, red column, it means it's net asset on accounting basis, book value accounting basis. Blue column shows you market value added. If you want to be the value creator as a listed company, this price book ratio should be above 1, right? Unless otherwise, there's no meaning of listing. You can delist, you can break up your company and return all the money to shareholders. That's better if your price book ratio is below 1. Japanese average around 1. historically. You know, UK average around 2, US average around 3. By that international comparison, Japan is sometimes called country of value destruction or country of no value creation. The third largest economy in the world suffering from value destruction. This is truly inconvenient truth. Then here's a book value. This is called currently financial capital by the definition of IIRC, International Integrated Reporting Council, headquartered here in London. Actually, this morning I met with CEO Richard Howitt of the IIRC, and blue column is added value, market value added. It means value of intangibles, value of non-financial capitals. 5 non-financial capitals as defined by IIRC, namely intellectual capital, manufacturing capital, human capital, social and relationship capital, natural capital. In other words, it's a value of ESG or CSR, environment social governance or corporate social responsibility. Hey, we believe Japan is a very decent nation. We think highly of people, employees. We respect nature. We respect social contribution. Therefore, potentially, we should have intrinsic value of intangibles, non-financial capital. But stock market cannot buy it at all. Why? It's due to corporate governance discount or ESG discount, or due to the lack of proper corporate governance or accountability, or lack of financial literacy. So this is truly inconvenient truth for Japan. Although we are improving the valuation, but basically we are the country of no value creation. Although we are touting value of intangibles or non-financial capital or quasi-goodwill. This is a distribution of price-book ratio for top 500 Japan and US company. Wow, what a striking contrast. Japan has a lot of value destroyer. Price-book ratio below 1. You know, even now after the Abenomics rally, 30% of the listed company traded below the book value, no value creation. But the US company, below 1, almost 0. US company has a lot of value creators, 3 times, 4 times, even 10 times. A lot. Maybe they went too far, but on the surface at least, they have the huge value creation. We have very few value creators. Why US has a no value destroyer like this with PBR below 1? Because if you are CEO of the such US company, you are fired by board meeting because more than half are independent directors. They will fire CEO if you are value destroyer. Or at the time of AGM, you are voted down by shareholders voting. Or if your market value or share price is traded below the book value, so cheap, it's an easy target of hostile takeover bid by virtual funds. So you are gone. You will be voted by virtual fund immediately. So there's no US company below PBR 1 times. But in Japan, we have lots of zombie companies like this because internal board, you know, majority of the board of directors are subordinate of the CEO. CEO never ever be fired by internal board, right? And at the time of the AGM, CEO is very much seldom voted down by the shareholders voting because still we have cross-shareholding protecting CEO. And hostile takeover bid is unthinkable culturally, public opinion. So this is a striking contrast, Japan and the US. We got to do something. Another aspect is accumulating cash on the balance sheet of the Japanese companies. Total listed companies, excluding the banks, cash and securities are accumulated like this, nearly 200 trillion yen of cash and securities are sleeping on the balance sheet of the Japanese companies, it's going to create a very less capital efficiency, insufficient balance sheet. And take a look at these numbers before Abenomics, immediately after the Abenomics, 2012 and 15, we doubled share price. So situation is much, much better. 2012, 500 companies, their cash is greater than market cap. But even today, 150 companies, their cash is greater than market cap. Including marketable securities, cash and securities greater than market cap for nearly 1,000 companies back in 2012, before Abenomics. Even after Abenomics, nearly 400 companies, 10% of the listed company, with their cash and securities greater than market cap. Can you believe that? Cash is greater than market cap. You can buy that company, then immediately you can be rewarded with cash greater than proceed of the purchase. Easy arbitrage, right? You can buy Japanese company. Yeah, immediately you can recoup your cash with additional, pocket chain. And the high ratio of the cash holding vis-a-vis market cap by international comparison. Take a look at this graph. In the last 10 years, I've been conducting global investor surveys, gathering more than or almost 100 people of the opinion. And global investors say they are discounting cash of Japanese companies roughly 50%. Japan's 100 yen is 50 yen by the valuation of global investors. Why? What's going on here? That's strange, right? 100 yen is 100 yen. Okay. Respecting the UK pound. How much is this? 10 pound, right? 10 pound, 10 pound. How much is it? 10 pound is 10 pound, right? But let's assume you are investors. Investing in Japan company, Yanagi company. I'm a CEO of the Yanagi company. You are shareholders, invested here. I put your money here. I may waste your money by making a stupid overpay M&A. Or I'm in love with cash so much. I want to sleep with cash. Hold the cash for the rest of my life. I never invest. I never return. I'll sleep with the cash for the rest of my cash. If I say so, how much is it now? Aren't you getting a little bit anxious or suspicious? That's exactly happening. So people think you cannot recoup your 10 pound. You can discount this 10 pound as a 5 pound. That's exactly global investors saying. Japanese president may make a stupid overpay M&A, wasting your money, or Japanese CEO, cash hold mentality, entrenchment, sleeping on the cash, never invest, never return. It's a dead money. It's called agency cost by Michael Jensen of Harvard. So that's exactly happening in the marketplace. Then, in order to prove qualitative evidence of global investor survey, together with quant analysts, I've been conducting empirical research as a quantitative evidence using multiple regression model with 10-year financial data. I'm going to just tell you the one conclusion. Japan's 100 yen for the average company is regarded as 50 yen. If you include the securities, Japan's 100 yen is roughly 35 yen. Wow. This quant data coincide with voices of global investors. Therefore, this is compelling evidence of corporate governance discount. Japan's 100 yen is 50 yen. Right? If you are a good corporate governance company, your 100 yen could be 90 yen, 80 yen, even including the securities, 80 yen or 70 yen. Okay, let's assume, I'm not bragging, but let's assume ESA is a good corporate governance company, together with Asteras, Kao, Omron. Our 100 yen is almost 100 yen. We are safe. But the average Japanese company, 100 yen is 50 yen. If you are bad corporate governance companies. Sorry, I don't mean to be very rude, but if you are president of the, for example, Bulldog or TBS, your 100 yen is like 30 yen or 10 yen. If you include the securities held, your 100 yen is 0. That's why I'm quite neutral. This is just a personal opinion on the fact. UK, investor called AVI, asset value investors, now attacking, challenging TBS, Tokyo Broadcasting Service Company, because TBS market cap is $4 billion. Okay, market value of TBS is $4 billion. With $4 billion, you can buy TBS with beautiful anchor woman and wonderful TV contents. Amazing, right? 4 billion. But TBS holds 4.5 billion of cash and securities. Amazing, right? That's why AVI UK fund is requesting special dividend. But they got defeated by the AGM, of course, because of cross-shareholding. AVI doesn't have the majority voting. But by the eyes of the global investors, this is the root cause of the disease, corporate governance discount. Just for your reference, take a look at the US company. I don't mean US is the best country in the world, but US $1 cash is $1, according to the Dr. Dittmar with Michigan University. No corporate governance discount. For US company, average $1 is $1. Good US companies, maybe Google or Microsoft, their $1 worth $1.50. But bad corporate governance in the US, their $1 is 50 cents. Even in the US, bad corporate governance company is vulnerable to corporate governance discount. That's a stark reality with empirical research, multiple regression model. This is statistical significant result. So very interesting, Japan got 50% discount, US got no discount. But the corporate governance matters for the valuation of the cash held by listed companies. Okay. Take a look at another way. Do you agree with Ito Review's ROE 8% guideline? Vast majority of global investors, 190% supported Ito Review's ROE 8%. Japan should seek at least 8% of the ROE. We send a message, numerical target, 8%. Thank you very much for your approval. As a drafting member, on behalf of Ito Review Committee, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to your support. Especially foreigners, because foreigners strongly agree with my assertion. Domestic investors reluctantly agree with my assertion, because they are so much considerate insiders. Their parent companies, bank, insurance companies, contract with listed companies. So they don't want to be too much aggressive or mean to Japanese listed companies. Again, Japan is a country of conflict of interest. So, but anyway, this assertion was supported by global investors. And another question is, what is their assumption of the cost of equity for general Japan equity investment? In other words, this cost of equity could be interpreted as a minimum required rate of return when you make an investment in Japan stocks, your opportunity cost, or your minimum required ROE level you would like as Japanese company to comply. Wow, in the last 10 years, largest number of the respondents say 8%. This is Ito Review 8% evidence number 1. Global investors say 8% is a minimum threshold. This is the evidence of the ROE 8%. Sometimes people criticize me for writing 8%. I know, hey, Dr. Nagi, you wrote Ito Review, why 8%? No grant, no evidence. No, I have evidence here. Global investors say 8% in the last 10 years in a row. I have the data, comparing data. Right? In the aggregate, their investment in Japan equities, 100 trillion yen, not the small boys. they represent 100 trillion yen of the Japan equity investment. This is the majority voting for as far as institutional investors are concerned. And another evidence, Ito review ROE 8% evidence number 2, quants data. Vertical axis shows you price book ratio again. Horizontal axis shows you the ROE level, total 10-year financial data. There is a kink here, 8%. 8% is magic number in Japan by the quant analyst data. If your ROE is below 8%, your price book ratio is hovering around 1 without any meaningful value creation occurred. But if your ROE is above 8%, your valuation will be going up proportionately. Your value creator straightforward. So this is amazing data. Market data suggests 8% is a break-even point, right? Based upon the qualitative evidence of shareholders' voice and quantitative evidence of market data, I wrote it to review 8% guideline. This is compelling evidence to support ROE 8% guideline. Of course, it depends on the company, life cycle, long-term thinking is necessary. We don't have to fall into the short-termism. 10-year average, 5 years average, we're fine, right? Another evidence is a financial theory called residual income model or also model. Key KPI is equity spread defined as ROE over cost of equity. In conclusion, price book value ratio equals market cap divided by equity book value should be above 1 equal 1 plus equity spread. PBR is a function of equity spread, which is ROE above cost of equity. If your equity spread is positive, your PBR is above 1, and congratulations to your value creator. If your equity spread is negative, your PBR will be below 1, sadly, your value destroyer. Pretty much simple, right? Then if global investor survey and quant data suggest 8% is cost of equity, simply put, if your ROE is above 8%, your equity spread is positive and PBR will be above 1 and your value creator. If your ROE is below 8%, your equity spread is naturally negative, resulting in a PBR below 1 and your value destroyer. So financial theory mandate ROE 8% is a key break-even point for PBR to be above 1. In order to become value creator, you got to secure positive equity spread. You got to secure it means ROE above 8%. That's the reason why I wrote Ito review. Yeah, it's unfair, I think, Ito sensei of Hitotsubashi got all the credit. He takes all the accolade, right? But I got all the criticism. Why did you write that? Are you crazy? 8% too high, groundless. Oh, no, I have the evidence here. I got to convince everybody. That's why I wrote 12 books in Japanese. It took me 12 books to convince Japanese people. But you are much cleverer. People, only one English book is enough to convince you. Okay, that's why I wrote one English book so far. Okay, and another aspect is called ESG or non-financial information. Companies operating not for the profit only, but for the social contribution on a sustainability basis. Right? ESG, environment, social governance, or intangibles, gaining ground, book booming in Japan. What do you think about Japan's ESG? Guess what global investors say? See, Japan should show value relevance between ROE and ESG. Ito sensei called it ROESG, new jargon, ROESG. We got to show the value relevance. Very harsh foreign investors say ESG for ESG is nothing. we need a ESG for value creation. Especially ESG for Japanese company is excuse, noise. They tout ESG. Hey, we got a donation, we got environmental friendly technique with beautiful picture in the annual report, the integrated report, but their ROE is only 2%. Wow! You are dumping shareholders' money? Then touting the ESG, it's nothing. You are not NGO, NPO. You have to make a profit for shareholders on a long-term basis. You have to show the value relevance. So that's a problem. In order to solve the problem, my conclusion in my book is a value proposition of ROESG or synchronization model of non-financial capitals and equity spread. Like I say, shareholders' value or corporate value could be defined as shareholders' equity book value on accounting basis plus market value added, value of intangible. This market value added should be related to value of intangible, value of ESG, human capital, and also in another word, in accordance with IIRC 6 capital model, market value added should be related to 5 non-financial capital, like a human capital and intellectual capital. So in order to be value creator, we got to have the value of ESG, value of human, social contribution for sustainability on a long-term basis. But on the flip side, financial theory also model or residual income model mandate that shareholders' value or corporate value could be defined as equity book value plus sum of the present value of future flow of residual income. That is a function of future equity spread, ROE. Therefore, we can create win-win situation via market value added for intangibles, ESG, and also ROE. Japanese CEOs are saying, hey, global investors are so stupid and greedy. They are just talking about the number. But the company is operating for the social contribution. People are important. Employees are our priority. On the flip side, global investors are very angry with Japanese CEOs. Japanese CEOs are so stupid. They don't understand cost of capital. They don't understand ROE. Just touting ambiguous human capital. On the surface, two sides are, confronting with each other, but in actuality, with this model, they are talking about same thing, market value added. ESG is leading to ROE. So we can create win-win situation. Shareholders and corporate managers are actually on the same boat. However, precondition to this model is long-term horizon. Short-termism will destroy this equilibrium. So long-term thinking is very much important to mandate this model. In order to prove this model academically, I've been conducting several empirical researches together with academicians and quant analysts. 5 non-financial capital, like a human capital, intellectual capital altogether, having a very much strong positive correlation coefficient with valuation, price book value ratio. 0.733 with p-value below 1%, which is statistical significance. It's a really compelling evidence showing correlation between ESG and non-financial capital with actual financial valuation. So we can create a win-win situation with this. So in conclusion, I want to tout integration of the ESG, social contribution, with financial value. But I should give you the concrete example with Eisai. Eisai is the 5th largest pharmaceutical company in Japan. Our corporate philosophy is put first priority patient contribution. Okay. With that, filariasis, one of the neglected tropical disease like a malaria or dengue fever, being infected by a mosquito bite. If you got infected with filariasis, your legs are swelling like an elephant. You cannot move, you cannot walk. You are destined to die with complications at the end of the day. More than 100 million people are at risk, suffering from this neglected tropical disease, but no one made a drug. Why? because these patients are poorest people in the poorest nation who cannot afford even a penny. No one could buy the drug, no commercial market. That's why global pharma company never ever made a drug for that. Also people are dying every day in and day out. Is it a good thing? No, right? As a pharma company, we stood up, tying up with WHO, offering this filariasis drug called DC tablet, 2.2 billion tablet for free of charge by 2020. Even after 2020, we will offer this drug free of charge up until the moment we can eradicate this disease from the earth completely. We will fight against this tropical disease until the end, all free of charge. It is a donation, leading project. I'm dumping shareholders' money. I'm wasting your precious money. Sometimes media ask such a naive question. My answer is no. No. This is long-term investment for shareholder value creation. Why? We're going to make this drug in a very inexpensive way in our factory in India. 2.2 billion tablets is huge. Therefore, capacity utilization ratio in our factory is dramatically bolstered. Okay. Then locally hired Indian employees getting more skilled and motivated. Okay. Then we started production of cutting-edge drug like a cancer drug, dementia drug in India, exporting back to UK, Japan, US, and overall profitability is improving now. And also, in addition, after 2020, Eisai is planning to make a full-fledged foray into emerging areas like Africa, Oceania, South America. At that time, ramp-up curve will be different with this brand value. We have good connection with local government, WHO, local village, local hospital, patient. Our brand is spreading now. As a CFO, I'm running an Excel sheet, calculating net present value. Within 10 years, net present value negative, net income. But within 20 years, this project will create net present value positive. Therefore, on a long-term basis, we can create value for shareholders. That's why I'm pitching this story to, global pension fund, long-term investors, PRI signatories. Forget about the US hedge fund boys. But I'm pitching this story to long-term investors, well received by global, long-term investors. So this is an example of win-win situation, creating a value, social contribution, human capital, social capital, finally turning into future ROE enhancement, thereby creating a win-win situation for company, society, and shareholders. And I have the academic data, empirical evidence to support this model. And this book conclusion as such, and Richard Howitt, CEO of International Integrity Reporting Council, headquartered in UK, provided back cover graph like this and supporting this. I have lots of UK people support throughout this book. Appreciate people in UK, London. I really appreciate all the friends and allies here. And in sum up, Japan used to be a country of value destruction. Now Abe stood up to make a reform, rectify the situation with corporate governance and ROE enhancement called Abenomics. Thanks to Abe, metrics are improving. Nikkei stock average more than doubled, ROE almost doubled, plus book value ratio used to be under the water, but now above the water. 99% of the listed company adopted at least one outside directors. 90% of the first section of the TSE listed company adopted two or more of the outside directors, getting better. But they still need to improve because ROE is still half of US. Plus book value ratio, like I said, 30-40% still traded below equity book value. And some Japanese companies, 300 companies, cash is greater than market cap, and Manhattan is regarded as 50 yen by global investors. And still, majority board is not independent. Cross shareholding is still there, tenaciously, around 50%. no voting right for genuine shareholders. So prediction to unlock the value going forward, my value proposition to TSE based upon this book is adapt and disclose equity spread, ROE over cost of capital. We got to understand the cost of equity as a financial literacy, and the ROE has to be above cost of equity. Seek optimal capital structure. A lot of Japanese president talks about P&L only, sales and profit only. Very few CEOs are talking about balance sheet. Balance sheet management is important. What is your optimal capital structure? They're going to discuss, disclose, integrate ESG into value via equity spread model, like I said, ROESG model for win-win situation for Japanese corporate managers and global investors. Independent board should be needed, majority should be independent, unwinding of cross-shareholding should be further accelerated. And disclosure and engagement finally matters. Investors should stand up and should be aggressively engaged with Japanese company in a constructive way, of course, polite and friendly way, and creating a win-win situation. So these are the predictions to unlock the value, basically. So with that, let me conclude my speech. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much.